What's good, dreamers? Thanks for checking into the Positivity In, where everything is copacetic because God is in it. If you are new here, welcome by checking in. On this video, you have automatically been given the silver package, but please do upgrade to gold by subscribing to this channel, or all the way up top to platinum by not only subscribing but liking this video, checking in with a comment below, and sharing with your friends. To all our returning dreamers, wagwan, big up yourself, yadis. I'm your hostess with the mostess, Daniel Robdon, and today we are talking about cash flow, specifically how to go about monitoring same. Let's get right into this video. So guys, before we can get into talking about monitoring cash flow and all these things, one needs to know exactly what is cash flow. And this is basically a term that is used to refer to money that comes in and goes out of your household, of your business, and all that kind of things. And the fancy finance words that you are familiar with are income and expenditure. Now, a lot of persons are faced with challenges as it relates to their cash flow because of the negative reality that they see when they do their evaluation, because there is a higher expenditure than the income that they're receiving. So they have to provide money for payout that is greater than what they are receiving from royalties, little side gigs, the regular 9 to 5, if that's what the person is doing. Basically, the income money coming in at the end of each month, or, fortnightly or weekly. But I want to encourage you to try to achieve a positive cash flow where you either try to increase the amount of things done to receive money. So if you have one particular job that you're depending on to receive that income and it's not sufficient, try finding something that is able to provide that kind of increase that you so desire, in order to eliminate that negative balance at the end of each month. So are you going to write that book? Are you going to start that YouTube channel? Are you going to start podcasting? Do you have a particular talent that you can monetize? Try to add those things. And I want for you to establish a cash flow forecast. Everybody is familiar with the weather forecast. This tells you that, all right, throughout the rest of the week, we're going to have rain on such days. We're going to have sunshine. There's a possibility of snow or flowers. There's a possibility that we might have a sunshine, that kind of thing. So at the beginning of the month, say for instance, you have a particular sum that is expected from your 9 to 5. However, you have a little gig in the evening, whether you do Uber Eats or, Lyft, or you do some cleaning gigs in the evening after work, or you're working at Dunkin', or some side hustle. All the money that you're expecting from that particular thing, create a spreadsheet and have an estimate that you're expecting to receive, and also based on your expenses, what you are anticipating to spend. Now, at the end of the month, do an evaluation of that forecast to see how accurate your estimations were. Now, in the event that you realize that, okay, then the anticipated income was less because I was not able to work as much evenings as I so desired. So while the regular 9 to 5 money would have been fixed, the extra that you would have been looking forward to from the side hustle was not enough as planned. What you do from there is basically try to work away how you can improve that in the next month in preparation for that new forecast that is coming up. Now, I want to point out the no-nos when it comes on to having a positive cash flow. If you look at your expenses and you are in the negatives, you are in the red, it means that there are some not so good decisions that we have been making money-wise. Now, if I mention something from this list and you realize that you are guilty, it means that there needs to be an effort going forward to reduce it, you know, try to get out of it slowly, or to eliminate it altogether if you can do so in the snap. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is poor budgeting. And this goes back to your cash forecast. You need to make sure that you are really spending time to look at your estimated income and your estimated expenditure. Now, based on that, you're saying, okay, then I'm paying $10,000 for rent. I'm paying $4,000 for light. I'm expecting to spend $15,000 on grocery. When you have that, you know that in your spending, you're not exceeding that amount. So you put the necessities first, and wherever you need the extras, you can fill that in so it does not exceed in that grocery store the $15,000 that was budgeted. So budgeting, guys, if you don't budget well, if you don't have a cash flow forecast, you are at a great risk of being in the red. Now, another thing is, and this is something that I found myself experiencing while living in Jamaica, and that is having high expenditure. So my expenditure was more than my income. Thank God I'm married, and in my relationship, the money is not my money, your money, but our money. We were able to pull together to create that balance where I was not able to cover myself. If you do not have a partner or help financially, I would suggest that you make an effort to examine your expenditure and see where you can pull out what you can reduce, or if possible, wait until the other paycheck comes in. The third point I want to talk about is high loans. Now, listen, student loan is one killer. I can tell you because I experienced it. A lot of persons have high loans. When we're taking out loans, guys, don't just take a loan because it's convenient, it's available. Make sure that you know the interest rate. Make sure you evaluate what you're getting yourself into. Now, another problem that may rack you in the negative is overstocking. I'm going to give you an example. Say, for instance, I decided to take over my parents' jerk center. And because I'm excited, I say, oh, I'm going to do business. And I go and stock up on all this pork meat, this chicken meat, and all kind of things. However, because there's a pandemic and girl didn't think, the meat is there in the stocks, but there is not enough production or sales for that which is being produced, because most persons have resorted to eating at home rather than eating out. So I find myself little money coming in for what I'm producing and having a high stock that is going to be either spoiled, given away, or thrown to the dogs, causing you now to have to find that money to pay the farmers from your pocket, the little that you don't have already, and still having to pay your bills, whether you're paying rent for the property, taxes, utilities, and that kind of thing. Another red being experienced because of improper planning. Overdraft is another red flag, and I'm going to couple that with late payment. So you pay your bills late, your account goes into overdraft, you ended up have to pay interest on the money that was not paid enough and still owe the bank because of the fees you would have incurred because they didn't have sufficient funds in your account. Another thing is having to face unforeseen, unplanned spending. So something comes up that you're required to dish out some money, especially health, accident, death, or, that kind of thing. On that note, I would encourage you, where possible, to try to stash away something, no matter how small it is. Put it aside each payday so that should there be an emergency, you'll have that money that you can pull on. If you really take out that money and nothing happens, it's not a green light to say, okay, nothing happened, so I can spend it and put it somewhere else. really save that money, because if you have that $10 going down each month and not having an emergency to go into that fund, it is accumulating. So should anything happen, you'll have more to pull from rather than finding yourself going into the negatives, in a deficit, and having to be pulling out your hair. Now, the last thing I'm going to be talking about is over investing. Is that possible? Yes. Investment is a very good thing, and this is something I encourage people to really research and see if they're interested in doing it, because it can really bring in a surplus. But the journey to investing should be one that is seen as long-term and not short-term. Say I made an investment in Highway 2000 the other day. However, because of the pandemic and the restrictions that are taking place, many persons aren't driving on the highway. I invested $50 with the hope that I'm going to be getting a surplus, because that money has lessened from the $50 to $40. Going into it, I may have not budgeted for the long wait or the long journey, and the money that I started out with was money I could not do without, money I needed. So I have to be pulling out of that investment. Remember, I had invested $50 because the journey is less than the long wait that is required. I am now finding myself in a deficit because I am not getting back my $50, but $40, $10 less than I had invested. So I want to encourage you, if you're investing, please invest for the long haul. Invest only money you know you can do without for a given period. So just in case there is a reduction because of any unforeseen issues in the economy, you know that you can wait out for the improvements to be made within the economy for that surplus to be added. One of the things I'm going to be encouraging you to do is basically leaving from here, doing an evaluation. Do you find yourself in the yes, where one or more of those negative points were mentioned? You can do something today to get out of that red and over to the green, where you have a positive cash flow rather than a negative cash flow. But it will take time, planning, and proper management of your cash flow. So go ahead and create a cash flow forecast, or basically a budget, or you can use apps that are readily available on the App Store. I spoke about the one we have been using in my savings video, and that is spending. So if you missed that video and you never heard about it, you can go ahead, search spending, download same, and start charting your income and expenditure. And the analysis is automatic, so it helps you to really take control of your cash flow. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying this money series. Have for yourselves a fantabulous one. Get that cash flow forecast in the mix, follow it, and of course you will achieve a positive cash flow on your next evaluation. Peace.